So first question, what's your name and what do you typically work on?
My name is Michael Chan. People call me Chan for short. What I work on is we have a kind of a Vue library that is shared between our 6 applications. So we have 6 Rails apps that all use React, and I work on a gem that's shared between all of them. It's just the interface layer, so it's all the shared styles. We're starting to put a few React components that are shared in there. But yeah, that's what I work on, the kind of shared interface layer between those 6 apps. So,
all right. And I guess how long have you been working with React now?
I believe that we started right about the beginning of 2014, I think, is when I put our first React component into one of our apps. I think we actually had a branch that was like abandoned. So officially, I think we started working, me and a guy named Tim at our work, started working on an application in March of 2014, I think. That was our first React app. And so I think we launched it about 3 or 4 months later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So almost from the start, really, with React, or pretty close.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, about, I think it was announced at the 2013 JSConf or something like that. So I guess maybe like 6 or so months after that, we'd kind of started to at least play with it in some of our production apps. Yeah.
So at React Europe, what was your talk on, and how did it go?
Yeah, so my talk was about styling components inline with, by styling JavaScript. I think it went pretty well. There were a lot of people to ask questions afterwards. Yeah, given that our company does a lot of Rails apps, we have kind of this set way of writing applications. So the asset pipeline kind of predicts, or not predicts, is prescriptive about what the way that you would shape your application and write additional assets and whatnot. So there's been a lot of friction on the idea of styling components in this way. But we're continuing to kind of like move forward. And so my talk was a little bit more about the conversation around inline styles and kind of some of the roadblocks we have on our teams, just like mental roadblocks that kind of prevent us from actually having a legitimate conversation about the benefits or downfalls of styling React components inline.
In general, so with the component sort of approach that you've taken, do you have any sort of thoughts on sort of the best way to approach large scale CSS and complex apps?
Yeah, so our applications right now are pretty pretty complex. Traditionally, if we're just using CSS, we use kind of BEM naming style and the object oriented CSS approach to objects. That's kind of that's been a pretty big win for us. Again, the trickiest part for us was managing state in CSS, because that declarative nature of CSS just really doesn't lend itself to managing state very well. So since React manages state great, it's great to actually pull those styles out, the state styles at least, out of CSS and just let CSS handle the appearance. And that's been a big win for us in terms of kind of our architecture with React components, but then also having kind of a lot of legacy CSS that we've built our applications around.
That's very cool. That's an interesting approach. So yeah, we use BEM syntax as well. So yeah.
It works great.
Yeah. All right. Last question. So sort of a combo question, but what do you see in the next year or 2 years in the future of JavaScript and React?
Well, I was really excited to see Vijay's talk and his kind of vision of the future, and kind of bringing a whole bringing together like the whole picture of React with like build steps and persistence and kind of settling on a shared Flux implementation. I think these are things that the React community is kind of striving for, and some other communities, like I think Ember has done a really good job of kind of developing the developer tooling around around their framework. So I'm really excited to kind of see that kind of emerge naturally out of the already spectacular React development experience.
All right, well, that's all I had. So thank you very much. A great interview. So.